It literally took me 5 years to get into a med school. Not one, not two, but 5 years. I'm not even joking. And when I finally did, I got full marks in IMAT biology, in MCAT biology. And in this video, I will be sharing the list of the things that I did differently to make it possible for you. So the first thing is the preparation strategy. For my strategy, I would analyze all the past papers for the exam that I am going to give. For example, for IMAT, I analyzed and compiled all the past papers and I made the data of the most important and high yield MCQs and the topics. It literally takes a lot of time and effort to analyze and compile all of the data into one place. So I have done all the work for you and I have made an ultimate guide for IMAT biology. You can find the link to the guide in the description. After I have compiled all of the data, I will separate out high yield topics and the low yield topics and prioritize my time to the high yield topics and give the remaining time to the low yield topics. And that's how you can prepare in the best way possible. The next thing is about resources to study the biology section. The problem here is that there are so many resources, but the best resources are that I recommend is A-levels compel biology. The next thing is the Pearson biology, and the third is the national books that you are currently studying, because they are the books that you are most familiar with and you don't need to study so many books, so many resources. The biggest problem and the biggest mistake that most students make is that they use too many resources. If you are using so many practice materials, if you are using so many books, then believe me, you are doomed. Do not use too many resources. Using too many resources will confuse your mind and you will have a hard time retaining data in your brain. So what I did was that I accumulated all the data, all the books, and compiled them into a one single notes, so that I don't have to jump from one resource to another resource to another resource. So I will just use one notebook or one notes so that I don't get confused while I'm revising all of those things, because the main thing in your biology preparation is the revision. The more you do revision, the more you will get better in biology. The next thing that you have to know is you have to do as much practice as you can. The more you practice, the more you will get better. There were two lines written on my notebook and I want you to write the same thing on your practice book, on your books, anywhere. The lines are consume less and practice more. Consume less and practice more, because the more you consume, the less you do practice, the less data you will be retaining in your subconscious mind. The more you practice, the less you consume, the more you will be retaining the data, because the most important thing in biology is that you have to retain as much data as you can, because biology is just consumption, consumption, and consumption. You have to memorize so many difficult words, so many difficult terms and diagrams and concepts that the data is sometimes overwhelming. And with so much amount of data, the only thing that can make you sane is doing practice, because when you keep doing practice, you will know that retaining data is actually very easy. You can use flashcards, you can use practice MCQs, you can use online quizzes, you can use anything to do the practice. That's up to you. You can start with doing past papers. That's like the most appropriate and best method. So just practice as much as you can. Now you know how to make high yield notes, how to do practice. The next thing that you should be knowing is that you should be understanding the topic rather than memorizing, because when you prioritize memorizing over understanding, then the data will not remain. We have seen so many researches on brain that when you ever try to understand a topic, you will memorize and retain it for much longer period of time rather than just cramming and memorizing the words. So it's better that you should know how the diagrams are following, how the flowcharts are being making in the specific topic. For example, I used to make a visual diagram in my mind. I would imagine what is happening in a Krebs cycle, what is happening in a Calvin cycle, and just imagine all the molecules combining together and forming the next molecule. In this way, when you have a visual memory, then you will be able to retain the data for much longer period of time. And I have learned this pattern recognition with a very long period of time. It will take a few days, but after you get used to this is going to change your whole life, because you are going to study for so many years, and this is going to save you so much amount of time, that being a visual learner is better than a person that reads only books. So try to have a visual imagination and try to imagine every possible concept that you are reading in your mind, in your visual memory, and try to imagine things like you are in a complete delusion. In this part, we will be talking about habits, because this topic is so controversial and so many people have different kind of habits. Some people are morning persons and some people are night person, and some people like to study while walking, some people like to study while laying down. It's up to you. But there are some things that has been seen in all of the successful students that got really good marks in competitive exams. And the first thing that they did was that they used to go in a dopamine detox. So what is a dopamine detox? You need a specific amount of dopamine to work and to study and to do anything in your life. And you have a limited amount of dopamine. For example, when you sleep, you get recharged and you have a specific amount of dopamine. When you wake up, you have the motivation to study, and that motivation comes from dopamine. And dopamine is also a happy hormone that is released when you do something enjoying. For example, you are watching Instagram reels or YouTube shorts or anything, or you are playing games, then that dopamine will also release and make you happy. And that dopamine is also used as a motivation when you are studying, when you open your book and you are studying. So if you have a limited amount of dopamine and you use that dopamine on not on studying but on other different tasks, then it's going to be depleted very fast than you can even imagine. So the first thing that you have to do is, first thing in the morning when you wake up, you should be studying and as much as you study. And the first thing to study is going to be the hardest subject. For example, if you feel that physics is your weak portion, and if physics is your weak portion, then you should be doing physics first thing in the morning, because if you do physics first thing in the morning, then the burden will be down from your shoulders. And if you delay doing the physics, then all day long while doing biology, while doing chemistry, you will keep thinking that I have to do physics in the night, I have to do physics in the night, and it's going to be nightmare studying other subjects. But if you do subject a hard subject first, then studying easy subjects later is going to be a better thing to do. And it has been scientifically proven that if you do hard things first in the morning, then the whole day is going to be much more easier for you. So during your time blocks and breaks, during your study sessions, I want you to have a bit walk, listen to some music or anything you like to do, except scrolling or using your mobile phone, because that will deplete your dopamine so much faster than you even think. And after you have taken a break, go back to study and do the study sessions. The next thing that I want you to adopt is to start praying. Even if you are not a religious person, praying is going to help you a lot, because there is a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, and this book tells you about that the people who praise a lot have a high success rate ratio than the people who do not pray. This book actually explains how praying can actually change your brain wiring and make you successful in life. For example, if you follow any religion and you are praying to your specific God every single day, and you are praying, oh God, I want to clear IMAT, I want to be a doctor, I want to do this, I want to achieve this, then you are not only praying to that specific God, but you are also telling your subconscious mind and training your mind that you have to achieve this. This is so important in your life. And when you keep doing this every single day, then your subconscious mind will eventually make those things happen, and your habits will eventually start changing. And this is not made up things, these are actually scientifically proven. So you have to train your subconscious mind while you are laying down your bed. You have to tell yourself that you are going to clear that exam. You have to be so much positive, so much delusional that this is going to happen. until eventually it will happen. So if you don't believe that it's not going to happen, then it's not going to happen, believe me. So first you have to believe in yourself so much, because the only person that's going to believe in you is going to be you. And the next thing is that I want you to have a healthy lifestyle. The thing is that I have seen so many students last year that they got really sick in the last few months, and they couldn't complete their syllabus or their revisions, they couldn't do FLPs. So I want you to have take really good care of your health. You have to eat apples a day because apples keep the doctors away. So I will be staying away from you, and you should be staying away from me. And the next thing is that you should be eating really healthy lean fruit. You should be having a healthy diet. Don't eat junk food. You should be doing a light 15 to 20-minute exercise every day. The exercise should contain like cardio, in which your heartbeat fastens a bit. Even if you are a girl, even if you are a boy, having these kind of things in your daily routine is going to help you a lot. I used to study all day long, 12 hours, 14 hours a day, and they had a really bad side effect on my back and my knees. And believe me, they are not a good things, they are not good signs for your exam, because in that exam you have to be mentally and physically present, because if you are sick, then you are not going to perform really well. And the last and most important tip that I have to give you today is that the last month is the most important time period for your whole preparation journey. I want you to go monk mode in the last month. I mean, don't go out, don't meet your friends, don't go to social gatherings. You have to be closed up in your room for the one last month. Revise as much as you can, do maximum effort. You have to study maximum hours of time. The more you are awake, the more you study, the better it is. Take 6 hours of sleep, and the other time you should be studying. You should turn off your mobile phone and take it to other corner of the room. If you are studying in first floor, the mobile should be on the second floor. If you are studying on the second floor, the mobile should be on the first floor. Believe me, IMAT and MCAT and these kind of exams are not the exams of addition, but they are the exams of subtraction. You have to subtract as many distractions as you can from your daily routine. As you start subtracting those distractions, then your preparation will go skyrocket, and you will not believe how much you can improve in a single month. In one single month, you can change your entire preparation. Believe me, I have seen students go from 40 to 60 plus marks in only one month. So last month is really important. I can remember a story of a really famous writer. He had to write a book, and while he was trying to write a book, he was procrastinating a lot. He would write a single page and then he would procrastinate, a single page and then he would procrastinate for a few days. So what he did was he told his wife that he's not going to come out of his room until he has finished the book. So he locked himself in the room. He removed all of his clothes. He had a blanket around himself, and with only a single blanket, piece of paper, and pen, there was nothing else in the room. And he used to write all day long. The only times that he had contact with the outside world was when he was throwing the papers uh, from the door, or he wanted to eat something. For other than all of the time, he was locked up into the room. I want you to go monk mode in one month. I'm not saying that go crazy like that writer. I'm saying you should avoid as many distractions as you can for at least one month, because one month is going to decide your whole future. This is not a like motivational video. I am telling you the reality, because if you want to be exceptional, then you have to sacrifice at least one month of your life. I'm saying if you sacrifice one month, then it can decide your whole five futures. There are so many people saying that a single piece of paper cannot decide my future. But if you want to be a doctor, then a single piece of paper is deciding your future. Believe me, IMAT is deciding your future if you want to be a doctor, because becoming a doctor requires IMAT, and if that piece of paper is IMAT and you can't become a doctor without that piece of paper. So in the last month, revise like your life depends on it. Do as many revisions as you can and do as many FLPs as you can. FLPs means that full length papers. So do as many full length paper as you can. Do a lot of practice MCQs and don't look up to other people's how many marks they are getting, what are other people's up to, what other students are studying, what books they are using, which courses are they enrolled to. You don't need to know anything. The only person you have a competition with is you have to improve yourself every single day. Do maths, do chemistry, do physics. Make your own preparation strategy, make your own schedule, because you are not going to be succeeding by following my time schedule or any topper's schedule. The only thing that is most appropriate and most best for you, that is going to be your own time schedule, because you know which time slots are best for you, in which time slots you are more available. So use all of the resources that you can, as much as study as you can, work hard, and eventually you will reach your goal to be a doctor. So that's all from my side. If you want me to help you guys out in studying biology, I do live sessions now and then. You can join my live community. The link is the description. Keep working hard, keep me in your prayers, and at the end, you are going to decide your own future. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Sayonara. Bye bye.